We are going to have a great conversation with them, and we would like to learn all the nuances, the challenges, and how we can actually be great as an entrepreneur. Because it's starting, when we start as an entrepreneur, we end up as big business tycoons, as I have in my speakers today. I'll start with Saurabh Munjal. So yesterday I was just reading about him, that how he has started from Stephens, I guess, St. Stephens, then Punjab University, and then MBA Finance, I think from Singapore? Yeah. And then from MBA Finance, he has his move from finance sector to Suites and Inn, Haveli Suites and Inn, right? And then Lahori Jeera. So how this shift happened from finance to hospitality is something we would all be interested in.
So thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I would just correct you in one place. When you said business tycoons, we're not tycoons and not anywhere close by. We're just entrepreneurs, just trying to make it work, make it happen for us. Yeah, the journey has been pretty. Actually, it's been nothing short of hysterical, to be honest with you. Just things just kept happening on their own. Life has a way of taking its own shape. Similarly, something like that happened. I'm born and brought up in Chandigarh. My dad's an entrepreneur himself. He's a first-gen entrepreneur himself, but I just did not choose to join him because I have an elder brother. He was working with him, and I just like to work on my own. So from my schooling, then I went to Bombay, did a master's in entrepreneurship course. After that, I went to Singapore to do a MBA. After that, I worked there for a couple of years, and after that, there was calling. घर पे पापा बोल रहे कि आजो बेटा हो गया बहुत, and just I just wanted to come back myself. I think I have a connect with the roots over here. So I came here. I was just looking around. I wanted to do something on my own. As I told you, my dad is a businessman. I've been privileged like that. So I had the opportunity to do something on my own. So Haveli happened, which is like a hospitality project. At that point in time, I just wanted to open a brand, say a Subway or a McDonald's on a highway. That was the basic aim. Eventually, the project kept getting bigger while I was sort of getting into it, and eventually something like it's a highway retreat of sorts. It's on the Ropar Highway. It's a landmark now. God's been kind again and is doing well. And then after that, when it got settled, so with Haveli, what the thing is in hospitality, you cannot literally stand on the road and ask people to stop. What you can do is just build that system, create that infrastructure, and maintain standards. And that's what happened after 3 years into my business. I started feeling a little irritable because I wasn't doing a lot. I had a lot of free time on myself. So that's when I sort of figured, or I just stumbled onto Lahori Jeera, which is the beverage that I make. That's something that just happened because of some opportunity that I saw. I had it and I knew this is special and I just need to make sure that this product is available across the country, and that's what I've been working on.
That's wonderful. Who all here knows about Lahori Jeera, and who all have relished it? Well, it's our, so we all know Lahori Jeera. But then again, from Haveli, I think if I understand, it is like Haveli was quite on autopilot, and you had enough space on your plate, so you wanted to diversify or try something.
I had the bandwidth. I wanted to do more. I knew with Haveli you can only scale so much. And I wanted to create a brand. I wanted to create something which is not just for my generation but for generations. So just wanted to create a brand which can take me outside just the territory, just Punjab. I wanted to do a pan-India brand, and that's what I'm working on now.
That's wonderful, and that shows, the work shows. So for us, the homegrown entrepreneurs will always be tycoons. I will not stand corrected here, sir. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. So now coming to Mr. Vikram. Mr. Vikram, I studied a little bit about you. You are also Punjab University. You've studied in Punjab University, and then somewhere from your company is talking about reskilling, upskilling, talking about renewables. Their post, if you just go on LinkedIn, it is all so diversified and you learn so much. So give us a little bit about yourself and about your company, because
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me here as well. Just correcting you again. So, I'm the least educated, I would say. I've never been to a college, so my full-time education has always been like +2 only. But I went on to do PGT in computer application and journalism as well. So, blend of design, content, and technology. And this business started in 2005, more of an accidental startup than an ambitious startup. I was bedridden for 2 months and didn't have any other option but to start off my own. So, but initial 4 or 5 years were quite lean, and I would say it was just a kind of a alternate to my full-time job. So, but it was in 2009 onward when I gathered the courage again, with the 5 people team and with 1 month backup.
Wow.
And but that was the day, there was no looking back by the grace of the God. And now we are kind of like over 600 team member under one roof, and one of the largest, the only largest blockchain consulting talent pool in India. So nobody's like as ourselves. And so our aim is to.
So you're very, very humble in saying whatever you're saying. This is something incredible.
True, yeah, because he has done PGDCA and then, diploma and degree, they are for us, what studies you've done, this is amazing.
Yeah, the role of education is like only 20%, 80% is the execution part of it. So like,
Yeah, sure.
coming back to like, so what we are doing today, so what we are after today, or also started like ASB now, like entire school of blockchain, wherein our kind of like, vision is to make this region as the blockchain capital of India, right? So what we have done in the consulting side, wherein we want to create a kind of like, something, very big, like something which can kind of like we can list ourselves maybe down the line in a kind of a reputable exchange, maybe BSC. Very few companies out of this region go to make it to the big, list themselves into the exchange, because they generally kind of like, goes up to like certain level and then kind of stop. So this is what we are doing, and enjoying the journey, and yeah.
Yes, but capitalizing totally on blockchain, and I'm sure that you must be having that skill yourself, and then the team you rely on.
So it was in 2016, end of 16, start of 17, when we kind of like the very first milestone, came to our kind of like in my entrepreneurship journey, when I kind of like bought our first infrastructure, E221. We were operating from like from the last 4 or 5 years, and now kind of shifted to the another one. And so I was looking around, and kind of like these cryptos were making a lot of noise, but when I actually delved deeper into what was the reason why it was invented, I was completely sold out. So that was the day, and I kind of like even without a CTO kind of on my side, so I went deeper and understood the technology first, and then kind of like started steering the whole of our organization towards the blockchain side. And we always believed in the power of technology, and very early on we have understood that the companies who are going to make it very big, they will have to learn the art of making their own bread, right? Baking their own bread rather. So we set up an L&D division in-house, right? So right from the like 4 years back, which we have now spinned off as a separate venture called ASB under the entire school of blockchain. So that's how the vision came into existence as well, like how we can now create a bigger impact, like how we can train more, because like I would say 97% of our team member learned blockchain when they joined us, after they joined us. That's the kind of like 500 resources we already trained.
Mostly organic growth. So
Yes,
you trained
organic.
them, and then you are
Exactly.
all right. That's fine.
And now we kind of like trying to take this further towards all the colleges and the kind of universities of Punjab, so that because blockchain is not a kind of like a elective subject, it is a foundational technology. It's not a disruptive technology, but a foundational, and any foundational technology needs maybe 20 to 25 years to get into the hands of the public. So like for example, if you look at the evolution of internet, the TCP/IP, the email, but the very first email was done like in 1972, but it took like 20 to 25 years, like when the World Wide Web was invented. Only then the real innovation started happening into this space. So the same thing, like Bitcoin was invented 2008, right? And now we went to the 15th year of like it's a kind of, so that's how like blockchain came into existence. And so we are, I would say, like still 4 or 5 years away, but very soon we will be kind of we will start seeing the power of this technology in the hands of the customers as well. So there are so many use cases, and yeah, so
Wonderful. So who all here knows about blockchain, and who has interest, and who all are inquisitive to know more about blockchain? So we are going to talk about it further, and all the entrepreneurs who are looking for mentors, please have a look. These are the guys you can always count on, because one most important part is that they are all homegrown, Chandigarh-based entrepreneurs. So thank you so much, Mr. Vikram. Thank you. Now coming to Mr. Radhesh Soni. So you name the company, and I'll just quiz with my audience here. You name the company, and Mr. Radhesh Soni knows about it, and he has worked with them, and that's the kind of versatility he brings here. So anybody who wants to name an IT company, big IT companies? Yeah. Wipro? Infosys? Yeah, he's worked there. So I'll give it to Radhesh Soniji. He has graduated from PTU, and he brings lots and lots of experience in Oracle. We'll be talking about the cost of licensing, if that is not censored, Mr. Radhesh. So a lot more from Radhesh ji. Let's talk about his experience, his education, and the company from him.
Thank you. So, the journey started as a technical consultant with Infosys way back in 2001 when we passed out of, we started in Punjab University. The Firozpur College was affiliated to PU, and gradually we transformed into PTU. And it was a big, kind of protest which happened, like these days you can see in Jantar Mantar, we used to sit outside PTU, to ensure that we don't fall under PTU, but we remain with PU. But eventually it didn't happen, and we were part of PTU. But we were lucky enough. In fact, some people say ki hum PEC mein ho gaye, we were lucky. We say that we were in PTU or in Punjab, we were extra lucky. 2001 is a recession year, right? And from PEC, there were around 100 plus people who got selected within FEE. And out of Punjab, we were just 15 or 16 people, who were selected, and we were put across to Chennai. Our starting location was supposedly, Mohali, but we went to Chennai, and the PEC folks who were 100 in number, they couldn't be adjusted anywhere. So the guys who were supposedly, much superior to us in terms of, their education, their effort, they got, junior, I would say, God's grace that we were lucky enough that we were small in number. We were pushed, that gave a great, a gist to us, or a great push, for our career, like to work in Chennai. Then got a chance to work with Sony Corporation for 4.5 years in Japan. So that's where the actual, the hard work thing started. The Japanese culture of respect, of hard work, that was something, phenomenal, which I learned over there for last 4.5 years, the time which I worked over there. Then I moved to UK for a big client in electronics and technological industry, Aero Electronics. There I worked for a couple of years. So what I worked was majorly on the business transformation projects. The value of a single penny or a single yen being saved or being accounted wrongly, right? That's what we learned with Japanese.
So I saw that there was a post by you, and you were looking for an HR who can manage your system and human resources team you want. So what is the importance of HR in an organization, and what should we all entrepreneurs look forward to when we are selecting an HR team or HR head for us?
See, if you ask
I have a feeling this is a two-sided question. She also wants to know how she can help.
That's a good one.
See, to be honest, HR is the face of the organization for employees, and employees
All
are your
ears,
biggest
please. This is very important. Please listen.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. It's the first point of contact for your employee whenever they have any grievance or any kind of problem or any issue, right? If they start coming directly to you, right, as a CEO or even as an operations head, right, you don't have time for all those queries. So it's not just about formulating the policies, right? It's about the execution, how well you execute them, how well you are able to convince them, right? Of course, see, convincing can be either side. Whoever convinces the other side has to, provide a solution. So for me, HR is the face, which, for the employees, not for the outside world as much as it is for employees. So it's very important that your HR has very cordial relations with your employees. They can at least be, they can confide in the HR and come with their problems, right? Because typically, Chandigarh region, I have seen a lot of people saying ki HR is appointed by Lalaji, so, they are not going to help. But that shouldn't be the culture, because we have, worked across Big Four, so the culture there is a little different. So the CEO and the HR function is a little different altogether. The HR is for employees, so that's major something which I feel is very important from the HR perspective.
That's a very interesting perspective. Thank you so much. Vikramji, you want to say something about it?
Absolutely. Like agree on this, and adding on to what just Radeshji said. So what we believe that whether we are in a business of blockchain or maybe technology or maybe any other part, say IT, kind of like a technology, but I think the very first thing is like we are in the business of human engineering. That all other engineering comes second, but first is the human engineering. If we know how to treat your people well, and that's where the success lies. For us, like every team member is kind of a plant where we have to like provide them the nutrition and the space to grow. We are kind of like gardener for them only. So that's how we run our organization, and so we need to be able to understand whether they are indoor plant or they are outdoor plant, like whether they can work on the same side.
Such a beautiful expression, really.
Right.
Do you hear that? People are like plants. So wow, wonderful.
So that's how we kind of run our organization. The very first day, like we kind of like put them on an onboarding process where we run our organization on the 7 habits of highly effective people, because we say like the dreams of success, like whatever somebody wants to achieve when they step out of their home. So they are built on kind of these the discipline, and discipline is built on habits. Habits are built on training, and training happens every single moment and of the day, of the week, of the month, of the year. And we either give our best or we don't give our best. So like people comes first to us.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Saurabh, would you like to?
I think these guys are the champions. They've got a lot of experience on their side. What I have is a perspective. I'll just give you my lens of how we sort of operate. I think as far as he mentioned, HR gives you culture. I feel that is not so true. The culture is one thing that sort of the promoters drive. You will actually notice one thing, sir, that culture for any company is actually driven by its promoters. And as a matter of fact, the promoter's culture or his nature sort of gives you the entire foundation, or how the company is going to be, how the employees operate is sort of defined by the promoter himself, because they sort of imbibe it, they sort of imitate and put the entire thing out there in the system. So culture is something that the promoter drives, and I personally sort of am very, very conscious of it as to how it should be. And one thing that I sort of believe is that as a leader of an organization, everybody looks up to you, and my entire idea is that the organization has to be bigger than just me, the promoter. We have to institutionalize the concept, so we need to bring in leaders to take it forward, to take it further and make it bigger than just me. The brand has to be bigger, right? So the idea is very simple. In our organization, we try and build we give them the authority, we hold them accountable, and at the end of the day, what we try and do is convert them into leaders themselves, so that we can sort of take care of the next thing and these guys can do what we are doing. So building those leaders on an everyday basis is what we sort of do, and that's where I feel HR and culture comes from.
I think I completely agree there, because the promoters, the directors, or on the board,
decision top management.
Yeah, so they are the ones who decide the culture, and these the HR people actually adopt it, and they are the torchbearers.
Yeah, torchbearers.
So it says like culture is the software of the organization and the processes are the hardware. And if you want to change the culture of the organization, just change the leadership layer and you will change the culture.
Change management.
Sir, के anecdote बहुत सही है.
बहुत अच्छे हैं.
Right to the point.
नहीं, मुझे वो भी बहुत अच्छा लगा. पंजाब की खीर खानी है. ये बात सही. Wonderful. All right, so there are a lot of entrepreneurs sitting here, and from your journey, they would like to take an inspiration and learn. And if we can, smoothen the rough edges edges. So let's start with funding. I think funding is a very, very important aspect of entrepreneurship. When we start our business, when we are not 100% sure about our own business, and then somewhere encapsulating it and not showing it to the investors and looking forward to angel investors or VCs, we are all looking for investors there. So how was your journey for the first initial investment, whether it was bootstrapping? I'm sure for you it was bootstrapping, but then how did you go about selecting your investors? Or
Can I go first? So I'll just tell you, specifically to all the people who pitched today, it's a great time. We're blessed to be in this generation. This is a great time to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is being celebrated as if it's a festival. Like, look at us sitting here giving these pitches. A lot of people have done really good work back in the day, but they weren't celebrated. और अभी थोड़ा सा एक fad भी बन गया है. Getting funding is nothing to celebrate about. Trust me. It is, a lot of people have told me that it is almost like your business model is being validated by somebody putting their own money into your business, but I feel that is also not true. What validates your business model is the customer buying your product. That person who pays money to take your product is the person validating your business model. The investor is just reconfirming or just taking a bet, thinking कि इस founder से मेरा 2x 3x multiple हो सकता है. My money can make a biggest ROI. But getting an investment or raising funds is just more pressure. Now, not only are you riding the pressure of the people of your employees and your own self, but also somebody else's money. So that just adds more pressure. You need to take it responsibility. You need to take responsibility. People these days think कि loan नहीं लेते, funding ले लेते हैं because loan वापस देना पड़ता है, funding वापस नहीं देनी पड़ती. But that's not true. लोन भी वापस देना होता है, फंड कोई भी बंदा को कैसे भी पैसे दे रहा है किसी भी फॉर्म में, whether that's loan or that's funding or whatever, you need to make sure that money is returned with whatever winnings on top that you can deliver, because that's the mindset that every investor is looking for. If you feel कि यार funding मिल गई, अब जिंदगी sorted है, अब वापस तो देनी नहीं पैसे, ऐसे नहीं होता. Don't have that mindset. That's a very wrong mindset. To be honest with you, I was on this side, on your side of the boat for, just not too long back. I raised $25 million back in 2021 for this company Lahori Jeera. It was a Belgian investor. Initially it was a bootstrap company for good 4 years. There was good traction from the customer. Eventually these guys sort of reached out to us, and these are very mature, sorted investors. So I was lucky to have them involved, and right now God's been kind. I've been trying to sort of scale as fast as I can with the backup, with the resources they sort of provide to me. So my only point is that we're lucky to be in this time and space where we're being celebrated, in this time and space where resources, this opportunity is not an issue. You have a good business model, you have the power, the hunger to sort of work, then there is enough money chasing you to provide you the support. But you need to be, not let yourself be complacent about it or just take it for granted. Be humble, be nimble, and just make sure that you're focused. हॉर्स के आगे वो लगते हैं ना, बस वैसे बिजनेस करना होता है. आपको पैसे मिले हैं तो आप बस प्रॉपर बिजनेस पे फोकस करो and try and make the most of it. That's just my opinion.
Totally agreed. And since we are into the consulting and maybe services business, so there is always immediate money when you deliver something. So for us, it has always been like investing on the right people, right technology, right geography, and maybe right markets. However, one thing is very true, I would say, like funding, you need funding only to once your business model is approved. So you can take the funding to scale up your business model, not to prove your business model. That's my take on it. It might be wrong as well, but like we have always been like a bootstrap and never ever taken any single penny kind of like from outside. And by the grace of God, we are operating out of our own infrastructure as well, and which is capable of scaling up to like 1,000 people under one roof. Even more than that, I would say.
So same like what Vikram said, like we are totally bootstrapped, never sought any funding. In fact, we got a recent proposal from both Deloitte and Accenture to be acquired, but we humbly rejected because we have built our own kind of culture, which we definitely don't want to sell across to the big players. So again, the only point, which I definitely would agree, sir, is that the money has to be used responsibly. Paisa mil gaya uda dein, right? That kind of attitude shouldn't be there, because investor ka paisa is going to be, hurting you more अगर आगे जाके return नहीं आए, because once you ruin your reputation of not giving the returns, then probably next time seeking an investment, or you can't really go for that.
Forget seeking an investment. You make a promise to your employee, he will first question you, where was your word when you did not return the investor's money? So nobody's going to believe you.
So I think that is a big takeaway, that if you are taking investment, if you are taking in investors, then it has to be used very responsibly. And remember, as Saurabh said, remember that you have to return that. It's not that kila fateh ho gaya hai, you have to return that money. So use it responsibly. Wonderful, thank you.
A lot of people, use the funding mil gayi, they try to celebrate it, or they try to showcase it, but it's actually a start of a more responsible journey where you have to, invest it wisely, use it wisely, not just uda do types.
True. So, as entrepreneurs, what had been your biggest challenge? Whether it was funding, or it was getting talent on board, or it was the government policies, because I don't know, IT, Oracle, again IT.
Finding the right team is, has been the biggest challenge even till date in the region, because, the lack of talent, or, that lack of talent what we have in the region probably is, hurting. That's something. But otherwise, from government policies and all, once you are into the system, you have to comply with it. You don't have any escape out of it. I don't think so there is any escape, but finding the right team, and of course, having the money to pay to your employees on time. Because once you fail to pay on time, they will lose their confidence कि पैसा अगले महीने मिलेगा या फिर दूसरी नौकरी ढूंढना. That has been the major.
Sure. Vikram, for you?
For me, I would say challenges are always there. Whatever you want to kind of find out, you will find out. So, for us, the opportunities are always underneath the challenges, right? So there is never ever opportunity sit above the challenge. So, and we always tell ourselves or tell our people that our competition is not outside, it is inside, right? If we can't look back and say whether we have grown or no, then I would say we are just running on a treadmill. So for us, we love challenges rather, right? Because they provide us the kind of the impetus, the kind of the motivation to keep moving forward. So we love what we are working on.
Awesome. Thank you.
So to be honest, what I feel, these guys are right in their own respect, in their own right. But my take on challenges is that for an entrepreneur, the challenge starts when the plan is inside your head, to actually get it on paper, to incorporate a company, to set up the business model, to get that first sale, to get that first capital, to set up that machine, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So challenges keep changing on an everyday basis for an entrepreneur. Right now, the challenge was 5 minutes back, before a phone call came, the challenge was that the production is not happening at a certain efficiency. A phone call comes and it says that there is a certain sales return from a certain customer, from a certain sale that you've already booked. Now the challenge is completely different. So for an entrepreneur, it's a constant journey in challenges. Yes, you build systems around them. For me, from starting was to convince my dad to give me the money, to loan me the money, at least to start this business at a small scale. Then it got that I could not produce enough at the right speed, because the customers were demanding more. I couldn't make enough, and then the challenge was to scale. Now with scale comes different challenges that we never sort of knew before. So it's a constant challenge, and the journey is all about challenges and sort of overcoming them over a period of time. So in my opinion, we're in an age of specialization. आज की डेट पे हर चीज़ परफेक्ट होनी चाहिए. That is the expectation, the basic expectation of a consumer. That is the basic expectation of an employer. That is the basic expectation of a teacher. Everybody wants things to be perfect. So in this age of specialization, I feel it is absolutely important to be collaborative, to have that attitude. These guys have been mentioning partners and other companies and channel partners and everybody, but I feel the collaboration starts at the basic level of having a co-founder. Your co-founding because that person is good at particular thing and I'm good at something, and together we are collaborating to build something which is special, right? So it starts at every level and then it goes on to collaborating with employees. So you hire an employee to collaborate to work together on a certain mission, right? And it's at every level, and obviously collaboration at a larger level would probably be somebody like a Tata and a Reliance working together to help certain something. But the idea is that collaboration is the only way forward, because we only need to be more and more specialized, more and more efficient, and more better at anything and everything that we're doing right now.
Absolutely. So I think all the panelists agree at this, that collaboration is the new currency, and we have to see that we are on same planes, we have to see synergies, and that we complement each other and not doing the same thing. So that is important. Yeah. So guys, we have a very versatile team sitting here, all entrepreneurs with background in finance, in hospitality, in IT, information system. So I would like to give a privilege to all the audience here. Please feel free to ask any questions you have from the speakers. Any questions you have. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask, how did this name Lahori Jeera come? Why not Amritsari Jeera?
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. Actually, this is probably the most asked question, and I'll be very honest with you. The day when I tasted this product first was actually by my cousin. He sort of made it from his kitchen, and that's what we're inspired from, building flavors out of the Indian kitchen. So he made me taste this. He called it jeera at the time. मैंने कहा ये बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है, इसको तो हमें commercialize करना ही करना है. And we just wanted, because we were inspired from the Indian kitchen flavors and the streets of India, we wanted to name it something traditional, because everything that we make from the house of Arshian is traditional. So we wanted to name it traditional without thinking too much. There is not a elaborate story, but the truth is, बिना सोचे हमें बस Lahori अच्छा लगे, sounded right, because Lahore is famous for its food, so we just named it. And there is one more technical reason, that we use Lahori namak, the black salt, the rock salt that is, उसको Lahori namak बोलते हैं, and that is one common ingredient in all our products. So that is the reason why we just named it Lahori without thinking too much कि इसके repercussions क्या होंगे, because at the time when we launched it, we just never thought it will get the love that it is getting from all the people.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of
Yes, thank you.
One question to IT guys. Like what we have seen in IT in the last one and a half years, there's a lot of pressure on margins or otherwise. So how the companies in this part of the world, which is mushrooming or grooming, although you are working in a niche area, do you also feel the pressure because majority of the IT companies, they are feeling a huge pressure from last one and a half years? Your opinion on that?
So I would say you need to kind of like choose your niche actually. So there is a strategy called blue ocean strategy, whether you want to sail in the blue ocean or whether you want to sail in the red ocean. So like red ocean is like where a lot of competition is there, but blue ocean is there where neither the competition nor the customers are there. Like Netflix is the perfect example out of that. So you have to like find your USP that is completely, I would say, directly proportional to your own intellect actually. So how good you are at your business. So that is something which will lend you the kind of USP which can take you forward and separate you out of the crowd. That's my take on it.
No, I agree, Vikram. Like the niche is the definitely a key, but at the same time, like as I think Iqbalji asked that question, right? Whether IT is feeling a pressure? Yes, the pressure is there, like across. I think the board, starting from the likes of Infosys and other consulting organizations. But having a niche and being focused, right? That is more important, because दरिया में या I would say in ocean तूफान तो आते रहेंगे, right? But you have to be still very clear with your focus and keep sailing, because जहाँ नीचे जाएंगे वहाँ ऊपर भी आएंगे जरूर definitely. That's what happened in COVID. 4 months were bad, but after that it was too good for us. मतलब 300% utilization rather than 100%. So it was excellent. So
thank you, Rajesh. Any more questions?
Hello. Yeah, my question is for Saurav. So I was going through an article, so I read your turnover in FY21 was 80 CR and in FY22 it was 250 CR. So how did you multiply your revenue by 3x within 1 year?
72 करोड़ था, 80 नहीं था. अभी gross is more than 250 crores. How did I do that is because of the love that people are giving me. The idea was simple. We wanted to create a product which gave out consistent quality. And so one thing what we need to understand and appreciate is that India के अंदर हम जब भी कहीं जाते हैं हमारे को दो चीज़ें की ऑप्शन देते हैं, a hot beverage versus tea or coffee या कोला. दूसरी ऑप्शन नहीं है. एंड व्हाट वी आल्सो डोंट रियलाइज इज कोला इज एक्चुअली अ टेस्ट दैट केम फ्रॉम आउटसाइड इंडिया. इट्स जस्ट adopted taste. We just never got another option. That's why we've just gotten used to a cola. Cola is an adopted taste. It doesn't come naturally to us. What comes naturally to us is the stuff that I make. Jeera, नींबू, शिकंजी जो हम बचपन से पी रहे हैं. It's not only the northern part, across the country, right? And that's the option I sort of wanted to cater to, and that's what I wanted to get to the world, to the country specifically. And the idea was to create a product which is not for a particular niche, which in their favor works for them, but not for me. I wanted to create a product which is for the masses. कोई भी बंदा हो. I will just give you an example and then I'll just close it. I went with a delegation to Finance Minister of Punjab's office for some meeting, and then over there he addressed us, he welcomed us, he made us sit, and it was hot, so he says आओ बैठो. मैं तुम्हारे को बहुत पंजाबी में बोला था, मुझे आती नहीं बोलनी पंजाबी, तो उन्होंने बोला आओ आपको कुछ अच्छा सा पिलाता हूँ मैं. And then he was serving jeera. And he, without realizing that I am the founder of Lahori Jeera, he was serving Lahori Jeera to me. It was a special moment. It felt great. And then on the same day, I was on my way back to the office, and I saw I stopped at the traffic signal, और वहाँ पर एक small beggar, small child, he was just sipping jeera. And that is exactly what I keep telling people. That is the audience. That's my TG. I don't have a specific niche. It's the topmost guy to the bottommost guy. Everybody. That's the product that I wanted to create, and that's the reason why it's just taken off. The idea is now to be the biggest non-cola brand in the country, and I'm just working as hard as I can to sort of increase that scale and give you that quality of a product as I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my question is with Vikram. Vikram, if we talk about blockchain, are you working in some kind of development into blockchain or implementing blockchaining?
And both ways, like we also like work on the customer requirement, and we also have a couple of products which we are rolling out to not only in the public sector but also in the government sector as well.
Right. And if we say we want to develop some blockchain product, you can develop that also.
Anji. So we are the Maca blockchain.
That's nice. We'll definitely be connecting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any more questions?
So I think, yeah.
All right. So yeah, so we have to wrap it up as it.